What up? Welcome. Today we are talking about the concept of clean eating for fat loss. I'm sure that you've heard the term clean eating or eating clean, but what does it actually mean and how can you use it to lose fat if you are interested? Some folks seem not to like the term clean eating just because they feel as though it then implies that there are clean foods and dirty foods, and dirty has a negative connotation to it, and that negative connotation can possibly result in putting some foods on a pedestal and demonizing other foods. But personally, I think that if we put aside the good, bad, right, wrong, and moral ties to these terms that we have around the words clean and dirty, that clean eating can actually be a really helpful thought process for folks in regards to making healthier and more fat loss friendly food decisions. So that is the approach that we're going to take in this episode. So what is clean eating? It's eating unprocessed, single ingredient whole foods, which you know I am a huge fan of for a number of reasons, such as favoring unprocessed, single ingredient whole foods has us feel more full while simultaneously eating fewer calories. For example, if you have a 500 calorie meal that is made up of salmon, rice, greens, and a piece of fruit for something sweet afterwards, versus a meal that's made up of a slice and a bit of pizza, and I say a slice and a bit because 2 slices would almost certainly put you over 500 calories if we're using the average piece of pizza as an example. Which meal is going to have you feel satiated for longer? Without a doubt, the salmon, rice, greens, and fruit, right? Same calorie content, but a drastically different response in the body in terms of how you feel from a fullness standpoint. You would probably need to eat about double the amount of calories from pizza in order to yield the same amount of satiation that just 500 calories of single ingredient whole foods would provide you with. Also, I don't think that anyone would argue that the unprocessed single ingredient whole foods meal is healthier. And so eating clean is a great way to feel more full on fewer calories and therefore lose fat more effortlessly, as well as prioritize your health at the same time. Now, a common question that comes up is, well, can you still lose fat while eating a bunch of quote unquote dirty foods? So processed foods like pizza, donuts, burgers, ice cream, etc. The answer is yes. However, it's going to be far more difficult from an adherence standpoint because we have to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat, and you can do that while eating solely junk food, but you're going to be hungry virtually the entire time because these foods are so calorie dense yet not filling that it's just so difficult to sustain that type of eating pattern while staying in a calorie deficit. Not to mention the health impacts of eating such low quality nutrition. Technically, you could lose fat while eating nothing but chocolate bars as long as you're in a calorie deficit, meaning you are burning more calories than you are consuming in chocolate. But clearly not healthy, not sustainable either, would not recommend. Now, can you include some foods that are processed and more calorically dense? Absolutely. You can work some pizza, burgers, ice cream, donuts, etc. in here and there to your diet and still lose fat, i.e. get the best of both worlds. But I would recommend paying very close attention to how much of that stuff that you include, because again, if you have a fair bit of it, it's going to eat into your calorie budget super quickly, and then you're going to be left feeling hungry, and hunger is not sustainable. As far as how you include this stuff, this part is really important. because it is vital that you know your tendency and therefore how to set yourself up for success. For example, some folks like to work smaller treats in more frequently, like my mom. She can eat a square of chocolate, feel satisfied, and then just stop. She's what we call a moderator. My dad, on the other hand, is an abstainer. And so if he decides that he's going to have some chocolate, he is not eating a single square and calling it quits. He's crushing the entire bar, but he indulges far less frequently. So, my mom might have a bar of chocolate over the course of a week as a whole, whereas my dad will forego chocolate for 6 days and have the entire bar in one night. Neither is better than the other. It's just a matter of knowing your psychology and being super honest with yourself about where you're at. Because we tend to put moderators up on a pedestal as if that's the right way to interact with food, and it's not. It's just one way. Abstainers can have a ton of dietary success via their strategy as well. However, where people run into trouble is when they want to believe that they are a moderator and they are actually abstainers. They want to believe that they can just have a square or two and set the chocolate aside. And so they keep chocolate, or any treats, on hand in their home at all times. And then they just end up having 4 chocolate bars over the course of the week because they are abstainers and not moderators. That is poor strategy right there. Be honest with yourself, and if you are an abstainer, don't keep tempting foods at arm's reach and honor your tendency. Another thing to keep an eye on in regards to identifying quote-unquote clean foods is that just because something says organic, natural, no preservatives, no artificial colors, etc., 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 does not mean that it's a healthful single ingredient whole food. And the absolute foolproof way to decipher this stuff is that single ingredient whole foods, for the most part, don't really have labels to even write this stuff on. Red meat, fish, seafood, eggs, potatoes, rice, squash, veggies, fruit, all of these foods are what they are. They all have one ingredient. They're single ingredient whole foods, aka clean foods. So, practically speaking, how can you use this clean eating concept to your advantage and lose fat? Simply begin to replace some of the packaged processed products that you're eating with these single ingredient whole foods. Super simple. If you're not crazy about the idea of replacement, then just start eating more single ingredient whole foods. And these choices are so satiating that they're going to begin to crowd out the more processed food options. And by default, you'll eat more clean foods and fewer processed foods as a result of feeling more satiated. Not only will this make you healthier via lowering your body fat percentage, but it's also going to increase the amount of nutrients that your body is getting, boost energy, lower blood pressure, improve blood sugar management, notch up mental clarity, increase sleep quality, and the list goes on. If you begin to make these improved food decisions consistently, you will look, feel, and perform better without a doubt. If you're interested in applying for one-on-one nutritional coaching and or workout design with me, you can click the link in the description below or head on over to n1fitness.com/coaching. On Instagram, I'm at n1fitness. On TikTok, I'm at the n1fitness. And on YouTube, I am at Marcus Sadu /n1fitness. Feel free to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform if you'd like to. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you found this clean eating episode useful, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.